So everything here looks amazing. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to go ahead and refactor the code here to put in a different function. That way it's not cluttered here. And anytime we want to use that function, we can just call it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's get rid of this. Okay. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say private void update question as such. And then, of course, there's the body, and then I'm going to just paste it all in like that. So now we can just call this update question inside here, and we should be good to go. Just small refactoring here goes a long way. So now we can just call update question. It knows already the question index because we created here, and then it just goes ahead and do all the things. So I'm going to save this and do a quick run. Nothing will differ from the previous run, but at least we'll know that we did something the right way. Okay, click, see, still working, and there will be no breaks. We can keep doing this for the next 100 years, as long as Android is around, of course, and it still works. All right, very good. So we have this working properly. Next thing we need to do is to actually check the answer to make sure that, okay, we're getting the answers, we are able to go through them. Now, how do we then make sure that when we click true or false, depending which answer we are on, we then do the checking and we can tell the user whether they're correct or not. Obviously, all of that is going to happen inside of our true button case here and the false button case as well. But for that, I'm going to create another method at the bottom here called, you guessed it, it's going to be check answer, and I'm going to pass here a boolean. I'm going to say user chose correct, something like that. Okay, and of course this should probably say private void as such. Very good. So what are we going to be checking here? Well, the first thing we need to do is to make sure whatever we are getting from our question, because remember, we created our bank here and we know which one is false, which one is true. So we want to make sure we get the true and false for each question that we're going to be asking the user. That way we can compare with whatever we are passing when we check the question or the answer. So in this case here, I'm going to say boolean, create a boolean type here. I'm going to say answer is true, just make something like that. And I'm going to say question, of course, it's a bank. So an array, passing current index. Now, the reason why I'm able to even use this current index everywhere is because of one thing that is wonderful about programming in any language, specifically in Java, is that we have this thing called scope. That is the reason why we put this current index at the top here, because it's inside of this class. So I have the scope, or it's visible anywhere in our class. Okay? That is one advantage we have here. So we have current question index. I'm going to say is answer. So that's what we're getting, because is answer, if you click there, going back to the actual implementation of our question.java, the model class, you can see the is answer true returns answer true. So whatever we have set it to be. Okay, very good. So in this case here, now I know I get the answer, whether it's true or not. That's why it's Boolean, from our question, depending on which index we're at. Meaning, if index is 0, that means we're in this question here, and we know it's going to be false. So we can now check with whatever users have clicked or selected. How do we do that next? Well, the first thing we need to do, of course, is to get the message toast. Now, what is this message? Well, I added here, we don't have to, but I decided to add it anyways. And we have here correct and wrong answer. So this is going to be the little message toast that when the user has said yes or has correctly answered a question, they will see this feedback that says, yes, that's correct, right? So that's what I did here. Coming back there. So I need to get the ID of that resource, right? I'm going to say toast message ID. I'm going to set it to 0 at first. Okay. All right. So next, I'm going to do an if statement here. I'm going to say if user correct chose, so meaning whatever we're passing here, we're going to compare it with the answer that we got from the question, the actual question in our bank database, right? So I'm going to say if that is equal, double equal, answer is true. What is this? This one here, again, getting from our bank. Okay. If that's the case, then we're just going to say toast message ID is going to be equal to r.string.correct answer. Okay, that means now this toast ID here is going to be pointing to the correct answer, which is going to say that's correct. So we can pass that into our toast and life is good. So else, right? The only other else here is going to be false. So we don't have to go and check whether it's true or false because it's either true or false. So else toast message ID is going to be r.string.wrong answer, just like that. Okay. And then at the bottom here, I'm going to create a toast. I'm going to toast.makeText. I'm going to pass our main activity.this, right, as the context which is needed. And I'm going to pass the toast message ID, which will know exactly what to fetch depending on whether it's true or false, correct or wrong. And then I'm going to say toast.length short, and don't forget to show. That's it. So now we can call this check inside of our true. I'm going to pass true to start with. Let's see, this is true indeed. And I'm going to call also here check answer false, right? Forgot a semicolon there. So obviously I'm going to pass false. If that's the case, then it comes here and says, okay, whatever we passed was false. So if that's the case, if whatever we passed, meaning user clicked on the false button, well, false is not equal to answer true. That's going to go and run this next here, which means the user is wrong, and you're going to toast the wrong message. All right. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to get rid of that. I think that doesn't need to be instantiated or initialized there. Okay, let's go ahead and run this and see what we get to see here. Very good. So there you go. I'm going to say next, the supreme law, blah, 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 is the Constitution. Let's say true. That is correct. Very nice. Is that true? Let's go down here. Let's see. Constitution is true. Very good. So this is actually working. Let's say next. The U.S. Declaration of Independence was adopted in 1776. That should be false. But if I say false here, it should say that's correct. Right? If I go and say true, that's going to say that's incorrect because that is not true. I go next. The two rights in the Declaration of Independence are life, pursuit of happiness. That is true. Says that's correct. I go next. Freedom of religion means you can practice any religion or not practice a religion at all. That is indeed true. That's correct. I know these things because I actually had to take this test, by the way. That's why I'm acing all of this. All right, so journalist is one branch of part of the government. That is not true, so that's false. That is correct. Congress does not make federal laws. Actually, it does, so this is false. That's correct. Keep going. There are 100 U.S. senators. That is true. That's correct. Keep going. And the U.S. Constitution has 26 amendments. That is false. It has 27. Keep going. And we're back to the first one. And there we go. Now we have our application working flawlessly. Okay. Of course, there's a lot of things that we can actually add to this application, which we will do. Of course, there's always a lot of things that we can improve upon, which we will do slowly. Okay. But now you have a quiz application that works flawlessly, right? It doesn't throw that error that we had, which was out of bound index anymore, because we solved that. We're able to create this hierarchy, this architecture of model view controller, which is important when we do Android development, because that separates all of the classes, all of the layers of building the application so that you don't run into a lot of issues when your application, your project keeps growing, okay? And now we have everything working great. Okay, very good. So what I want you to do is to think of other things you can do to improve this application. We are going to improve this application in the next videos or next chapters or section, I should say. But I want you to take this on your own, maybe create your own quiz, find the data online, or create your own data, your own questions, if you will, and put them inside of the string here. And see if you can come up with something. Okay, so this is really, really good, guys. This is an application that you can go and show off to your grandma, your mom, or your friends, or anybody that you care about. Wonderful. So congratulations, and go ahead and make those changes that you want to make. Make this your own, different color, maybe add a different image and so forth. And I will see you in the next video.